All right, it's Wednesday. Yesterday we had rain in the morning. It only amounted to about somewhere between an eighth or a tenth and an eighth, but it was enough to make things tacky, and then it was windy as all get out by the afternoon, so we didn't I just went and messed around on Eleanor. So today it's calm and sunny, so we're gonna start spreading fertilizer on corn ground, which also just so happens to be ground that isn't worked, so we shouldn't have any issues getting over it in theory. Unfortunately, we were also going like hell at work today, so I had to stay over at 6:30 now. So the route that I got planned out, or that I had planned out when I loaded this fertilizer earlier today, I think I got enough time or enough daylight to get it done, especially since it's clear out. We shall see. But I got a 12-acre piece here right around the corner. Then I got to go over to my furthest east piece. There's a 4-acre piece there I want to get knocked out, because that could probably be chisel plowed by now, but I want to spread it before I chisel it so that I'm not running over chisel plow ruts. And then come back over this way to my uncle's place, and there's enough on here to spread half my uncle's. The way it worked out, I wasn't going to be able to put enough on there to spread all that and all of my uncle's. The spreader won't hold that much, so I just did half my uncle's, and I'll do a half load to finish it. So yeah, I gotta hurry up, get hooked up. The dogs are not gonna be impressed with me because they've been inside 2 extra hours past normal, 2.5 hours past normal, and they gotta go potty and then go right back in. So but I'm gonna get, while I'm sitting here, this blend was, it's DAP Potash AMS, and it was running about 60 pounds of the acre. Oh, except I don't know, I forgot to add up what my pounds per acre is. It was 60, 100, and so 210. Right? Yeah, so I had 60 pound an acre of DAP, 100 pounds acre of potash, and 50 pounds acre AMS. 50 and 100 is 150, plus 60 is 210. I'll double check that math, but so 60, 210, 3.5 inches. And it's already set back to the fertilizer setting. I am gonna have to keep an eye on it. I noticed yesterday when I got done with, was it yesterday? No, Monday, when I got done with lime, this little dealio here rusted out and came loose. So actually I could, I'm gonna throw a hose clamp around that real quick just to bite the threads. I ordered a new one from FDS yesterday. It might be at Dad's by now, but I don't have enough daylight left to change that, still get done what I need to do. So we're gonna do a band-aidy thing right quick just to make sure it doesn't move on me, and then I can fix it right hopefully tomorrow. But I'm gonna get that done, get hooked up. We're gonna get on the road because I gotta get rolling if I'm gonna get this thing, because we got a chance of rain tomorrow. I don't obviously have enough room to stuff that thing in the barn if need be, so we gotta move. All right, we're at the first field. I did indeed want to spread 210. I just want to double check and make sure. I should have started that a little sooner. When I pull into a field and I'm on a fresh load, I like to start or kick the drive-in gear while I'm going to where I'm going to start spreading. But with this thing moving so slow, it's hard to judge. So 60 pounds per cubic foot. It was actually like 61, 62. So we're going to go a little lighter. So 210, 3.5, 3, and just a little shy of a half. So we're good. too bad because that's all I got left. So go throw that on the backfield real quick. Start bordering it. I don't think it was kind of a freak thing. We had back at work last November, we had like 4 or 5, I think it might have been 5. I think I took 2. I think Chris took 2 or 3, and I think I took 2 and whatever was left on the floor. But it was some rye and some wheat seed that had been sitting in our dry building for like year and a half, 2 years. The bags were all busted up and full of mold and whatnot. So they told me I could have it, because we just wanted to get it out of the building and get it out of the way and clean the mess up. So last November there was just a random ass dry morning. It was toward the end of the month, and I was like, screw it, we were cleaning up the mess in the dry building. It's like, hey, you want to go spread this stuff real quick? We had rain coming like in a couple hours after this, so we came spread that rye out here. And I didn't figure it would take off and go because it was supposed to start getting cold. I figured if it did sprout, it wouldn't get big enough to be able to withstand the frost. And I don't think any of it actually came up, which, like I say, doesn't surprise me. It was free, it was an experiment. But the ironic part is that shit would sit there against the concrete in the building and just sprout there in a pile if it got some moisture on it. Which is kind of funny how that works, isn't it? You can have a perfectly fit field, perfect weather or something, and all it takes is for one thing to go wrong, and whether it be corn, beans, wheat, whatever, all of a sudden the crop's ruined. But you spill a little bit of seed out in the middle of a gravel driveway, or you spill a little bit of a seed in a building and it gets a little wet with no sun, no nothing, and the shit'll just take off and grow. Like, come on, man. Wasn't there that one Pioneer rep a few years ago made that meme that's still making the rounds? Oh my, the pH is too high, I think I might die, and then it pans over to a stalk of corn growing out of a crack in the concrete. It says, fuck yeah, concrete. So anyhow, where this video goes from here is going to kind of be weather dependent. I was really hoping to get out of work at a decent time today, because I don't would have had enough time to spread that load out, go down, get another load to finish this backfield off, and that would have knocked out close to 60 acres in a day. But I didn't, so I can't, and we're right now at that awkward time where I probably have enough time to go down there and get loaded. By the time I got back, it'd be dark. I've got that GPS light bar that my buddy Andy gave me a couple years ago. It's an old Case unit, and I have not been able to figure out who actually made it for Case to try to get a manual for it, figure out how it works. But I need to hook the dang thing up to a battery and see if it actually does anything, and if it does, I should get it set up on that. Because if I had GPS, I'd spread after dark. I don't care. It's dry enough. I'm very impressed with how dry the wet spots are. I mean, you're not going to want to go out there and chisel plow them yet, but getting across them, for the most part, I was basically just leaving lug prints. I wasn't even really cutting in, which surprises the heck out of me, because I figured, especially up there in that low spot by the barn, or behind what's left of the pole rope, I wish they'd push that barn in the pile and put it out of its misery. It makes me sad every time I drive by. But yeah, for that low ground up there that I always fight getting through, just lug prints, then didn't really cut a rut. So, but anyhow, where this video goes from here is going to depend on what weather does tomorrow. If it doesn't rain, which even if it does rain, it could probably still spread, because it's not supposed to rain much, but we're supposed to get really windy. So if it rains, or if it doesn't rain and doesn't get windy, gonna keep spreading. And if it rains or doesn't rain but gets windy, how did I say that? If it doesn't rain and it doesn't get windy, we're going to keep spreading. If it doesn't rain and it does get windy, probably going to hop into 150, put the chisel plow on it, and go work some ground, because that first field we were at this evening will go, and that second field for sure will go. So we'll probably start at that small one tomorrow and go from there. But anyhow, I'll polish this off and go home, get a hook, get the tractor put back, and I'll probably put fuel in the tractor and get the tractor, get everything put away for the night. So we will see where things go tomorrow. Okay, I was fully intending to go spread fertilizer because, as you can tell, it's not overly windy out. But we were wrapping things up down there today, and I was hawing about whether or not to load, because it is kind of a little breezy when you get out in the open, but nothing terrible. And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna load it and we're gonna go for it. And Ryan and I were walking across the parking lot. He was getting in a truck to go take our seed delivery out. He's like, hold up. And he pulls up the radar, and I'll be damned if there isn't a line of storms pushing up out of the southwest, heading northeast. And it's weird. It shows it coming. It gets somewhere between like Michigan City and LaPorte at about 5 o'clock, 5:30. It just goes blip, and it's gone. Like, it doesn't, radar doesn't show it falling apart, doesn't show it just coming, gone. So it's like, do with that information what you will kind of thing. And I was like, I mean, shoveling dry fertilizer out of a broken spreader is bad enough. I don't want to shovel wet fertilizer out of a perfectly good spreader. So I opted to just not try that. So we're gonna go do some chisel plowing instead, because if I get caught in the rain doing that, it ain't no big deal. There's no shoveling involved. Silver bullet out and hooked you up. Be all ready to go. I haven't done anything with it since I changed the oil, other than move it. Oh yeah, nice, clean, fresh. Come on. Okay. And I might be done spreading fertilizer anyhow, because I was there yesterday getting ready to load mine up, and our area manager just so happened to be there, and he's like, why are you got that here? I thought part of the deal was we were gonna spread your stuff for you. Or part of the deal of me working there is they were gonna spread my stuff for me as part of my like compensation package. And I was like, we haven't had time to sit down and get my fields and everything mapped out and all that for the spreader. He was like, well, we really need to, I mean, he was almost like like what's the word I'm looking for? Offended that we hadn't got that taken care of yet. So he's like, we need to get that taken care of, and today we got it taken care of. So they want to spread my stuff. So probably to be doing the rest of it with the big spreader, which one less thing on my plate. So anyhow, I'm gonna get things around and get hooked up, and we will go see what we can get done. All right, here we go. Let's officially start spring. The last 2 days there's been a fair number, well, I shouldn't say a fair number, there's been guys, the big guys over this way doing tillage. So but I figured I'd give it a little bit more time. This is wheat stubble. Got some volunteer wheat growing on it, made a nice little cover crop.
Gulf Coast weather aging. It's a rust bucket. tarp on it, but the tarp itself is bad. The frame and everything, hose, everything looked good, but the tarp is shot. Again, probably Gulf Coast kind of weather damage. But it's on brand new it's on brand new BKT R1 tread tires, 1000 RPM PTO. I mean, other than being a rust bucket, it's a pretty straight looking cart. I don't really see anything bent or broke on it. They only want, like, they want $3,200 for that too, but it's clear down in freaking Arkansas. But if the rubber is new or almost new, it's got $3,000 for the tires on it. And I can't imagine what it would take to get something like that hauled from down there clear up here. At which point you're into the cost of just paying to buy one up here. But we got time on that. There ain't no sense in getting in a hurry.
figure on getting 17 acres chiseled tonight, but I'll take it. And it, other than right down here at the bottom of the hill where it butts up to the swamp, didn't run into really a single wet spot today, which also really kind of impressed me, because normally that doesn't happen here in April before Easter. So it spit rain on me a couple of times. It was actually spitting rain as I was coming back up the field, and then it quit again. So hopefully that keeps up. And then, because all it took was to break this stuff open, and it was drying out just as fast as I could plow it. I mean, that's all this ground around here needs, is to be broke open, and it'll lickety split. So we're off to a good start for the first 2 days of field work, I'd say. So tomorrow, weather dependent, might go try to grab another field. I got one more field that I know for sure should go, and after that we're gonna have to do some scouting. So I'll probably just try to do that one more tomorrow and call it good until I can figure out what else is fit. Or if it's dry, if it's not windy and we don't spread any of my stuff at work, I might grab the spreader, grab a little fertilizer, and at least try to get my uncle's finished up and do some chisel plowing. We'll see. But well, if the weather allows for either one of those, we'll put it on this video and just keep this one rolling, and we'll finish this up regardless tomorrow, whether I do anything or not. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna finish up this video by doing some more chisel plowing. This field, I never even got any beans off of it last year because the deer ate them off. Matter of fact, you think you can still see, well, there's still some little nubbins out here maybe. Thought I saw some from the road, but maybe not. They might have just ate the dang things off to the ground. Nope. And I was this close to just saying, screw it, I'm done farming this, but then I concocted a plan. Don't know if it's a good plan, but it's a plan we're gonna try. For starters, I'm not spreading any fertilizer out here because I didn't harvest anything off of it last year. So by all rights, everything should be here other than the nitrogen. I might throw a little AMS at it right before I plant it, maybe. But as far as my P and K, everything should still be here from last year because I never took a crop off of it. So I'm not going to spread any fertilizer on it. We're going to plant corn back on it because the corn seems to fare better than beans do out here. Although it used to grow all right beans, and then the deer started getting so thick around here. But they also, the EHD or whatever the heck we had go through here last fall, right here around there's a lake back there somewhere, Boyle Lake. They found I think they found like 400 carcasses around that lake, so hopefully they're a little thin around here this year. Fingers crossed. Hopefully Mother Nature solved that problem for us, or at least helped it. So plan is put corn out here this year. I'll put starter on with the planter. I might put a little bit of AMS on it, and then if it looks like it's decent corn, I'll put 28 on it side dress to get my money back out of it from last year. And then I think rather than putting beans on this next year, I'm gonna put rye on it next year, because I'd really like to start growing some rye so that I can grow my own cover crop seed. And I don't think the deer will bother the rye as much as they would the beans. And if they do, I think the rye will cope with it better than beans. So that's kind of my plan. And then if it does work out, I might start doing a corn rye rotation out here. So we'll see how that goes. That's the plan. Like I say, don't know if it's a good plan, but it's something I want to try. So, and then I already took the locks off, and then I kind of botched it. I had talked to the neighbors about cleaning up their pasture, clearing it off, and then making this it kind of turned into a C-shaped field. and I never got around to it. And the more I thought about it, it's like, that's a lot of freaking work. So we'll see how this year goes, and then I might restart negotiations on that. But the way last year went, I didn't want to throw a bunch of time and effort into it if I was going to give this field up, and then this winter I concocted that plan. So I'm probably not going to cover crop. I'll never cover crop everything, but if I could start working in, well, even like 15-20 acres a year, throwing some cover crop on it or more, I don't think it's going to hurt me none. Throw a little bit something else into the rotation, because let's face it, even though it's 2 crops, corn, beans, corn, beans, corn, beans every year, for all intents and purposes, is monocropping. It just, it is what it is. All right, we are gonna go ahead and call it right here. For one, I don't know, I gotta do a little bit of scouting and see if I have any other ground fit to chisel. And for two, I really want to get, since pretty much all the ground that I have unworked is going to corn. Actually, all of the ground that I have unworked is going to corn, with the exception of one field. So I'd really like to get all my corn fertilizer spread before I go to working ground. That way I can work the fertilizer in. So I'm gonna hold off. Tomorrow I have to go in and work roughly half a day, and while we're there, Ryan is going to teach me to run the big spreader at work, and then we're only supposed to go till like noon-ish, noon, 11 o'clock, somewhere in there, hopefully. And then we get done, we're going to load up a spreader and a tender truck with the rest of the fertilizer I need for my corn ground, and then tomorrow afternoon I'm going to use our big spreader from work and bust out the rest of my corn ground. So that'll be done, and then I can figure out my bean ground, and maybe, weather permitting, next weekend do the same thing, get the big spreader from work and knock all that out in a day. Because with that spreader, between road speed and carrying capacity, I can do in 4 or 5 hours what it would take me all frickin' day, possibly a day and a half, 2 days to do with my spreader and a tractor. So plus doing it that way, they're not going to charge me custom. Well, they haven't come to terms as to exactly how they're going to work it yet. My branch manager wants to just not charge the custom application fee, and so it'll be just like spreading it myself. But our area manager doesn't want to do that, because then it won't count towards our acres on the machines, which makes us look better. So they have to come to terms as to how they're... I'm getting a discount on something somehow either way. They're either going to take the custom app charge off, or they're going to knock a little bit of money off the fertilizer to make it appear that they knock the custom app charge off. Either way, I'm not getting charged for something to help me out. And then on the flip side of it too, if I'm using their spreader, or if I'm using the spreader from work, I'm not paying for the diesel either. So very nice. So we'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon. So I'm gonna go get this thing put away, and might screw around in the garden if it's not raining, so, because it's about time to be getting that ready for Shelly too. So with that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.